Good morning, Veritas scientists. Today is April 13th, 2020. I hope everybody had a nice long weekend and had a nice Easter yesterday and enjoyed their Friday, the day off we had on Friday for Good Friday. So I hope everybody is rested and ready for this week of work. Okay, so we're going to go to Thursday's assignment. There was a question I left you on Thursday, April 9th, about the rock cycle. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over the answer that I wrote for this one. I want you to check yours and submit them to me on Google Classroom so that I can see what you wrote and can check it. And then I left you a good question today because tomorrow's lesson I'm excited about. We're going to learn about how coal is formed. All right, so that's exciting for me. I got a couple of good stories I can tell you on that. But first we got to get ourselves through this lesson, and then we'll be ready for an exciting one for tomorrow. Okay, so here's the question from Thursday. It says, describe the rock cycle in detail. Include the following vocabulary: sediment, sedimentary, igneous, metamorphic, and mineral. So before you started, you got to make sure that before you start doing your writing, you got to think about what is the question, and you got to make sure you can think about ways that you're going to include all of that vocabulary. Okay, so it says to describe the rock cycle in detail. So there's really no question that we're going to restate for this one, because it's just giving us a direction to describe the rock cycle in detail. Okay, so I start with the rock cycle. I'm going to give information about the rock cycle. Okay, and I'm just going to read my response, and that'll be it. And we're going to get ready for tomorrow's lesson about coal. Okay, so the rock cycle is different from most cycles, such as the life cycle or water cycle, because it doesn't always go in the same order. Over millions of years, rocks go through a cycle, meaning they change from one type of rock to another type. There are three main categories of rocks: sedimentary, igneous, and metamorphic. There are thousands of different types of rocks on Earth, but they all fall into one of those three categories, based on how the rock was formed. The type of rock you have depends on which minerals the rock is made up of. The minerals are the ingredients that help geologists to identify a rock. But no matter what type of rock it is, it's either sedimentary, igneous, or metamorphic. Here's how the rock cycle works. Over millions of years, a sedimentary rock made from cemented sediment could change to either an igneous or a metamorphic rock, depending on where that rock ends up on Earth. If it lands in magma or lava, that sedimentary rock will change to an igneous rock, which will erupt from a volcano and harden into igneous rock. That same sedimentary rock could also have changed into a metamorphic rock if it ended up underground where there's heat and pressure, which will change the rock into a metamorphic rock. An igneous rock could change into either a sedimentary or metamorphic rock over millions of years, again, depending on where on Earth the rock ends up. And lastly, a metamorphic rock could change into a sedimentary or igneous rock, depending on where it ends up on Earth. In conclusion, rocks change from one category to another in any order, depending on where on Earth the rock ends up, and depending on how it was formed into its current state. Then I gave a little model here which shows the three groups of rocks: igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic. And it's showing that a sedimentary rock could change into an igneous or a metamorphic rock, depending on where it ends up on the Earth. An igneous rock could turn into a sedimentary rock, or it could turn into a metamorphic rock, depending on where it lands in the Earth. If it lands underground and gets heat and pressure and changes, then it will be a metamorphic rock. If that igneous rock lands in a body of water after weathering and cements into sedimentary rock, then it would become a sedimentary rock. So that same type of rock could become either one. Same thing with sedimentary, could become igneous or metamorphic, and metamorphic could become igneous or sedimentary, depending on where on Earth those rocks end up, because that'll tell kind of what is going to happen to that rock where it is. All right, so I'm going to go back to the question real quick and make sure I answered that completely. It says, describe the rock cycle in detail. I just checked that I have all these words. Sediment. That was a tough one. I had to go back and add this little sentence here to make sure that I had sediment. So I got sediment. Sedimentary, right here. Igneous, right here. Metamorphic, right here. And mineral, which I have right here. So now I know I used all the vocabulary they wanted me to use. I answered the question. I described the rock cycle in detail. And I think that's a pretty strong answer. Okay, so this was a quick lesson today because I really want to be able to spend some time on tomorrow's topic. All right, so for tomorrow, for April 14th, 2020, which is Tuesday, here's the question. We learned how rocks and minerals are formed and how they change through the rock cycle. Coal is a unique mineral that is useful to people because it easily lights on fire and can be used as fuel. How do you think coal is formed? So in this description, I told you we learned about the rock cycle, right? We learned about how rocks change and how minerals change. Then I told you coal is a mineral. It's a unique mineral that is useful to people because it easily lights on fire and can be used as fuel. My question is, how do you think coal is formed? So this is the question that you're being asked. This is what I need you to answer. And you don't know much about this, but you do know about how minerals are formed. So I want you to think about what we've learned so far about how minerals are formed. I told you a little bit about coal. I want you to think, how do you think coal is formed? Because it is unique and it's formed a little bit differently than other minerals. My question to you is, how do you think coal is formed? All right, and we'll have a good conversation about that tomorrow. Tomorrow's video will be a little bit longer, but I wanted to kind of set the stage for this because this is going to be an interesting topic that we will talk about tomorrow. And that's it. Hope everybody has a great day. Nice short lesson today. Make sure you work on your math and try your All-Star Challenge as well. And submit those to me on Google Classroom, and I will see you tomorrow. Enjoy. See ya.